Can international students work and pay their tuition fees and living expenses in Canada? It's possible, but anyway, you might never know. Maybe it isn't possible. If you really want to know if it is possible for you to pay your international tuition fees and your living expenses in Canada, stick and stay with me whilst I bring you this video. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be about something interesting. As you can see, I'm holding my calculator. It's a much anticipated video. A whole lot of people have asked me a whole lot of questions about this video. But before we get to that, sorry I have been away. Like, I had to do a whole lot of things, and yes, but I'm back and I'm back with an anticipated video. Yeah, so now a lot of people ask me, can international students work and pay their tuition fees and their living expenses in Canada? And I asked myself, is that possible? Is that not possible? Is there a way we can go around it? Is there a way people can go around it? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe at the end of this video, we will tell. We will definitely be doing some calculations. So at the end of the video, we'll be able to make the decisions ourselves. So stick and stay with me as I bring you this video. Before I start this particular video, I would like to say something. If you are someone who never likes to hear the truth, then please don't watch this video. But if you're someone who likes to hear the truth and then probably listen to it, work out your own things and make your own informed decisions, then I'll say this is a video for you. So stick and stay with me and finish watching this. Yeah. So now, this particular question has been a question. Even when I was coming to Canada, I had that on my mind. Like, can I work and pay my tuition fee and living expenses? Can I work and save enough money for myself? Can I work? I had all those questions. But coming here, I realized that things are different. Like, things are not like the way we think they are. And so, yes, before we get right into the video, I would like to talk about certain things before we make our analysis ourselves. So yes, international students are allowed to work in Canada. Currently, we are working 20 hours because as of April 30th, that was 2024, the immigration, IRCC brought a particular information that international students could now work 20 hours per week during the summer and then work 24 hours per week when school resumes. Now, the 20 hours per week that you can work during the summer is for those who are currently in school, who are doing summer programs, who are probably, registered for the summer. Those who are on a break, like, registered breaks, scheduled breaks, can be able to work full-time during the summer. So if you are currently not in school, then that does not apply to you. You can work unlimited. But if you are in school, you are working 20 hours right now, and then when school resumes somewhere in September, you can only work 24 hours per week. Now, yes, imagine working 24 hours or working 20 hours right now and paying your school fees. I don't know if that is possible, but we'll get to that. But before we get into that, we have to answer the question, who can actually work in Canada? So when you are a student, you can actually work unlimited hours when you are working on campus. But when you're working off campus, certain things apply to you. Even when you're working on campus, you have to make sure that you have your SIN, that's your social insurance number. You have to make sure that you are registered full-time, and then you meet all the requirements that you have to meet in your school before you'll be allowed to work any number of hours in school, because that does not count towards the working hours that IRCC is telling us to work. So now, who can work off campus? Anybody at all can work off campus, but you definitely have to make sure that you are meeting the conditions. So you can work off campus. If you see me looking here, that is because I'm looking at a particular information and I'm definitely pinpointing all those information to you. So you can work off campus without a work permit if you meet all of this requirements. That is, you can work with a study permit if you meet all these requirements. You're a full-time student at a designated learning institution, that is a DLI. Now, to find out if your school is a designated learning institution, normally, even in the admission letter and all that, they stated, or your acceptance letter, it is stated there. You will definitely know their DLI code or something. Now, there's a way you can check when you go to the Canadian website, canada.ca, then you type in DLI. You'll be able to know the schools that are currently are approved as designated learning institutions. So the second point is you are enrolled in either of the following: a post-secondary academic, vocational or professional training program, or a secondary level vocational training program that is Quebec only. The third point is your study program is at least 6 months long and leads to a degree, diploma, or certificate. The fourth point is you've started studying. Yeah, so if you've not started studying, you are not allowed to work. You have to make sure that if you even get a job before you start studying, okay, you make sure that you tell the people, your employer, that I can only work when school resumes, like when school starts. So please wait, and then make me resume my job when school starts. So probably if your school is resuming on the 11th, you can let them know that you can start working from the 11th, or you can start working from the 12th. That is fine. And then the last point is you have a social insurance number. And so when you come into Canada, that's one of the first things you do. You have to go and then get your social insurance number. And so yeah, make sure that you have that. Now, if you are a part-time student at any designated learning institution, you can work off campus only if you meet all the requirements I mentioned above, except the requirement to be a full-time student, okay? And that particular requirement, what I would say is that if you are working, like you're a part-time student, and then you only became a part-time student when, like, the last semester of your study program, and you don't need a full course load to complete your program, then you can work. And if you were a full-time student in your program in Canada up until your last semester, you can work. But if you came in as a part-time student and you're going to stay as a part-time student for a long time, then please don't do that. You are not allowed to work. You can contact your school and see your school authorities, especially we have the officers that work on immigration and all that. You can go to them and ask them if you're eligible to work. Yeah, don't do anything that would cost you later. Now, one other thing you should note is that students, like I was saying earlier, students can work up to 20 hours per week for now if they are in school, and you can work more than one job to make up these hours, so long as you are not working more than 20 hours per week for now. But if you're on a scheduled break, like Christmas break, like summer holidays, like winter holidays and all that, maybe reading week as well, the Canadian website says that you can work full-time during those times. So kindly note something. Kindly note that you are responsible to make sure that the hours that you are supposed to work, you are abiding by them. You are the one responsible for it. So make sure that you abide by those hours at all times, and that you don't do anything against the immigration laws of Canada. And so one other thing I would also like to talk about is, before we talk about how we can pay our fees and all that, we do all the calculations, you should know the hourly wages, the minimum wages per provinces. So now, minimum wage is the amount of money that an employer will give anybody, okay? The minimum amount of money that an employer is supposed to pay anyone that is working with them. And so one thing you should know is that the province of Alberta, like this, has a minimum wage of $15 per hour, which has been that for a long time. British Columbia currently has $17.40 per hour. For Manitoba, it is $15.30 per hour. New Brunswick is $15.30 also. But for Manitoba, as of October 1st, 2024, I think they are saying that the minimum wage is going to rise to $15.80, so we are hoping it does. Newfoundland and Labrador is $15.60. Northwest Territories is $16.05. Nova Scotia is $15.20. Nunavut is $19. Ontario $16.55. Prince Edward Island $15.40, and Quebec is $15.75. Saskatchewan is $14, and I think as of October 1st 2024, so when we get to October 1st 2024, it's going to rise up to $15 per hour. Yukon is $17.59 per hour. So yeah, these are the minimum wage per provinces. So most of the time, before you make a decision on if you can pay your school fees, like you can pay your tuition fees and your living expenses in the province, you should make sure that you look at the province's minimum wage and try to do some calculations. So now, yeah, we will now move to the other side of the video. So now international students have to do, like, we do a lot of jobs here, care jobs like personal support worker, healthcare aid, especially those who have their, they have a nursing background or all that. They're able to get healthcare aid jobs. Some people without those backgrounds are able to also get it. It depends on your experiences, and all that. If you've looked after your grandparents for a while, if you write that in your CV, some jobs are ready to train people, and so you could also get an opportunity to be a healthcare aide or to be a personal support worker. But I always advise that if you need such jobs, you should go and then probably get some certification, like get your CPR, get your first aid, get all those things, and then start applying and hope for the best. But yes, you can also take these courses on Allison courses. This is not a sponsored video. I'm not sponsoring, like I'm not given any recommendation for Allison, but Allison courses is a particular place where international students normally go and then have some courses in healthcare, in the health sector, just so they have a little bit of knowledge about the way the healthcare system works. Others do dishwashing, others work as customer service agents, bilingual customer service agents. Others work with those retail shops like Superstore, and then Walmart. They work as sales associates. Some of them do fruit picking and a whole lot of jobs. So there are a whole lot of jobs you can do in Canada here. But like I said, the minimum wage remains the same. Some employers pay less than that, but the minimum wage is what they are supposed to pay. So sometimes you can negotiate your pay with them. But if there's a lot of competition, then you definitely have to take whatever you get for the meantime, and then whilst you're in the job, you look for better opportunities. And one thing I would like to say is that, let's say, okay, that you have a tuition fee of, let's say, 15,800, okay, and then the living expenses now is 20,636 by IRCC. But let's say we are not going to base it on that. So let's say every month you are even spending $1,000 on your food and accommodation, okay, every month. Let's say that's what you spend. It could be less, it could be more. It depends on your situation. So let's say you're paying 15,800, and then you have other bills to pay. That's the problem. You have other bills to pay, and then you are receiving something like the minimum wage. Let me use Manitoba. So you're receiving 15.30 currently, and then you are working for 20 hours. I think, to be fair, let me use 24 hours, because the 24 hours per week is going to start in September 2024. So let's say you are working 24 hours per week. So we have 15.30 times 24 hours. So that is 367.20. So now you have 367.20 for that particular week. Let's say you are doing that for 4 weeks in a month, so that will be 1,468.8. You are making 1,468.80 a month, and let's say you are lucky, you got an accommodation of about, let me use the average, that will be like $550, okay. So that will be $918.8 left. And let's say you don't really spend much, so let's say on your food and any other thing, like in case you are not in a place where utilities are inclusive, let's say you are paying utilities and you're paying some extra stuff, and that is, let's say, $300. Let me just budget that $300. So that will be like $618.8 left every single month as savings. Now you have a fees of about 15,800, and mind you, the fees that is 15,800 yearly must be divided into two. So you are possibly paying $7,900 for the fall term and $7,900 for the winter term. If you're not lucky and you didn't get a scholarship and you're doing this payment yourself, then if you have about, so let's say September, October, November, December, that is 4 months. So let's say the money you've saved, that is 618.8 times the 4 times 4 months, yeah, will give you 2,475.20. And then you're supposed to pay $7,900 for that particular term. And most of the time, a school like University of Manitoba like this, when you start your fall semester in September, I think you have a deadline of about 10th October to pay your fees. And so it's not possible for you to raise that particular amount before the deadline of payment of fees. What you can do is that normally what people do is that they still don't pay it, and then there's a lot of interest accrued on the money, and then they still have to pay the interest. But you can be discontinued, you can be sacked, your information could be withheld and all that. And so it has a whole lot of implications. And the current state that we are in right now in Canada is very, very difficult, like I'm saying, for students to pay their fees. Like based on our calculation, it is very, very difficult for students to pay their fees while they study. It is becoming a very big problem, and I really understand things a little bit, because before we come here we are asked to show proof of, you know, your financial capability to pay your tuition fees and your living expenses. So that becomes a whole lot of problem. That becomes like, if you don't have the money, then why are you here? So it makes sense that certain things like the school sometimes withholding your information, not making you write exams, you know, it makes sense that they do that. The truth being said, it is very, very difficult for you to pay your fees and take care of your living expenses in Canada as a student. It is very difficult. But there are ways to go about it. Like, if you pay your tuition fees before coming to Canada, like probably your tuition, you know, normally we pay our tuition deposit. For master's students in the University of Manitoba, I didn't have to pay anything like tuition deposit, but people pay tuition deposit for a lot of schools. So if you're paying tuition deposit, you make sure that you pay your tuition deposit, and you probably pay your first semester fees, or if possible, the annual fees. And then when you come here and you are working, you use whatever you earn to take care of your living expenses. With that, you can possibly, that's not even possibly, you can definitely take care of yourself in Canada. Or you can definitely pay your tuition fees for the subsequent years, because you are working and then you are taking your time to probably, you know, collect some funds and hold some funds and save some funds towards, let's say, the second year tuition fee or the next semester's tuition fee. With that said, that can be possible. Now, the other thing is, if you have somebody in Canada and then you can just probably stay with the person for a while, and then, you know, use that to offset certain costs like your accommodation and other things. And normally when you're two people and you're sharing utilities, that makes, you know, that helps with the utilities a little bit. That is, if you guys are not doing too much, that would help. And then probably you pay less on utilities as well. And so when I would advise that if you can stay with somebody, yes, fine. If you have somebody that you'll be staying with, yes, that is possible. So you are not taking care of your rent, you're not taking care of bills. That's if you have family members that can do that for you. You're not taking care of bills, you're not taking care of anything at all. The only thing you're taking care of is maybe your food. Sometimes family members can even help you with that. So you're just working to take care of your tuition fee. And some schools have very less tuition fees, so it's possible you can pay them, because we know schools that have like $8,000 tuition fees yearly and other things. Like University of Victoria, most of their programs are like $8,000 yearly and all that. I mean, masters in French. I don't know about other programs, but yeah. So if you have schools like that, then that makes sense. If your tuition fee is low, then you can definitely do that. The other thing I can say is that people finance their education in Canada by using loans. So like people use loans like Empower loans. So one thing I realized was that I think Empower recorded I think University of Manitoba was the school that recorded the number of people, like graduate students, undergraduate students, coming in for loan from Empower to study. That was in 2023. Meaning that a lot of people are coming to Canada with Empower loan. So yes, some people use Empower loan. Yes, and Empower doesn't need any co-signer, doesn't need anything, but you should definitely look at it and be sure that you want to really go down that path. But yes, people use loans to finance their education. But if you are using a loan to finance your education, what happens is that I think for Empower, what I know is that you get to, get your tuition fees sent to the organization, that is University of Manitoba or any other university, and then you pay some monthly payments, like the interest on the particular money you took from them when you are in school. And right after school, I think 6 months of completion, you start paying the principal plus your interest. So that is one way people start doing that. And with that, people pay as low as $100, $130, $150, $200 every month. So that is also one way that people use, and one way that you can actually decide to probably use. The other point I also like to say is that people actually, we have, like, Manitoba has a minimum wage of $15.30 per hour, but it's possible you can have some jobs that will pay you like $20 per hour, $25 per hour, $22 per hour, $19 per hour. It depends on that. So jobs like that with more wages, like they are giving you a higher hourly wage. When you get jobs like that, you can possibly pay your tuition fees and your living expenses. But even with that, you definitely have to do your calculations, like just like the way I did mine. You have to definitely do your calculations, because it's possible you can pay your tuition fee if your tuition fee is low, and then you can pay your living expenses. But there's a way you have to do that. Some people contact their schools and then see if they can be placed on a plan. So that is also something that you can do. You can contact your school and see if you can be placed on a plan, and then you can pay it as and when it gets to the particular deadline that you're supposed to pay the money. So some people do that, and then they pay like every 3 months or something. Now, that depends on the school. Most schools don't really have that. I don't think University of Manitoba has that, but I think some schools do have that. So you can just talk to the accounts office. You can go and see them and try to look at the possibilities of being able to pay your schools on, like, your fees on like quarterly basis or something like that. Yes. Now the other thing is people using scholarships or bursaries. So if you are lucky enough to get entrance scholarships, to get other scholarships in your department, to even get scholarships, external scholarships that are not coming from your university, then you can definitely do that. If you have scholarships taking care of your tuition fees, then looking after yourself in Canada, I believe, is easy peasy. Like, it's very, very easy for you to do that. So far as you dedicate your time and you work the hours, you work your 24 hours per week, I believe you'll be able to do that. So if you're coming for September, yes, if you have scholarship bursary, you can definitely take care of your accommodation and food and any other thing that you want to do. Just that you should be on a low budget. And as a student, one thing I like to say is, as a student, when you come to Canada, you should know what you want. The goal is probably to get your postgraduate work permit, to get your PR, to become a citizen. So you should make sure that you stay in a particular budget, you save, you do not do too much. Don't do too much. Don't do things that you don't have the money to afford. Try to live within your means, just so you would not have any problem, and then you can complete with flying colors, and then you can pursue other things you want to pursue. Now, one other thing is, some organizations, have this tuition reimbursement policy, where what they would do is that they would take care, like if you have a very good organization that you are working with, what they'll do is that they'll pay your tuition fee for you, and then you have some time to pay back, because that is more like a benefit. Some institutions, especially if you're doing a program that is in line with what you're doing, and they feel like you're going to be a huge asset to them, what they can do is that they can pay your fees for you and will not even take it back. Some people actually get, those opportunities, but it's rare, but it's possible. If you're able to secure, jobs like that, that will take care of your tuition, and then you would have to probably pay later, or will take care of your tuition and they don't pay later, or some percentage of your tuition, then that is fantastic. That is a way to go. So like I said, you can pay it if you have family here, you're staying with them. You can also pay it if you're on the scholarship bursary, and the only thing you have to do is to take care of your living expenses, your food, entertainment, and utilities, and all that, like your accommodation and all that. That one, you can do that. Also, when you're using a loan to take care of your tuition fee, you can definitely work and take care of other things and pay the interest and the principal of the loan. That is depending on the particular loan you've picked. Also, you can do that if you have a company that is willing to pay your fees for you, pay some percentage of your fees for you, and then you pay later, or they don't even take it back at all. So there are a whole lot of ways which you can solve this. I would not say that it's not possible. It is possible, but it is difficult, because if you don't have all these things, then taking care of yourself, taking care of your tuition, taking care of your living expenses is going to be difficult for you. So this brings us to the end of the video. Now, to end this video, I would say that don't be discouraged. Coming to Canada is years of planning and years of knowing the goal, and then being set on the goal. Like I said, keep your eyes on the goal. When you come into Canada, please do what you have to do. Work the hours you're supposed to work. Don't break the rules. Try to find a way to go around it, like the ways that I mentioned. There are possible ways you can research. I mentioned some particular organizations, some loan companies. If you really want to check them out, why not? You can check them out. I don't really support loans, but if you really want to, then I think that is one way to go. Yes, people do that and they don't get into any trouble, or they don't have any problems. So you can probably look at that option. You can also look at the option of trying to see if you can get family members in the area, and then seeing if you can come them. Like tuition fees, living expenses, and all that is possible for international students to pay, but certain things must be in place, because it's not that easy for you to work 24 hours per week and pay your tuition fees and pay your living expenses. It is not easy. So please don't be deceived. Don't follow videos around saying that it's possible. Like do the calculations yourself. Sit down, look at your tuition fee, check the countries, the average amount for accommodation and all that. Do all the calculations. Look at all that. Look at the minimum wage. The minimum wages I mentioned in the video. Calculate and see if it's possible. Now, if you realize that it's not possible for you, look at the options I gave you, okay, that you can probably use to help you offset certain amounts from your tuition fee, or help you be able to pay your tuition fee in probably installments or something. So please do that. But yeah, it is possible, but it's difficult. That is all I can say about this. Thank you for sticking and staying with me. Thank you for always coming back. I love you all. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share my videos, because it means a lot to me when you share. And when I receive a lot of love on my videos, it gives me that vim to keep on posting. So yeah, till we meet again, I love you all. Bye bye.